think what I learned most about myself was just to stay patient through kind of the everyday hustle and bustle of, just trying to pick up my kids, my wife, and transition to a whole new city, and just get acclimated with the team and be mature about it, give myself some grace because it was a new experience. So I definitely learned a lot about my patience and how to communicate better with not just people I'm working with, but just overall in my life. It's not an easy task to handle this NBA life alone. I have a great support system, so I'm grateful I had them along that journey, and now we're here, so it's good.
Hey, Kyrie, can you take us through how you navigated the process of free agency this summer and, got to the conclusion where you're back here on the deal that you signed?
Yeah, it started with my agent, Shatalia, also my stepmother, family-run business, so she has my best interests at heart. It wasn't too difficult of a process. Had Dallas as number one on my list. Obviously, I looked elsewhere at salary cap opportunities where I could fit in with other guys around the league, but there just wasn't much space. And me being 31 now, I had to have a different vantage point, and I felt like I could not just settle here, but be happy to come back here and be welcomed back with a warm embrace. So I took everything into account. I took my time a few days before free agency just to be with my family, gauge how they felt about being in Dallas alongside me, and everybody was excited. Even when I got traded here mid-season, a lot of my family was excited, and they were just looking forward to me having a peace of mind just on the court and off the court. I had already dealt with enough past season, or the past 2 seasons, so they knew that I just wanted a lot of that off my back and off my shoulders, of feeling like I had to be Superman or I had to be perfect. I just wanted to be myself, and been going on the last few years just figuring myself out. So I think this is the best place to do it and continue to mature and grow as a man.
What was the thought process behind the structure of the deal? A 2+1, obviously leaving you some flexibility there.
Some friendly terms, yeah. And then I wanted everything that was structured in my contract, incentive-wise, to be based on production, and that was it. Wins and how many games I'm playing. I hear all the noise, so I just wanted to make sure that I had some friendly terms, but also some realistic expectations for myself going into the season. Looking to just play as many games as possible. Obviously, it's a long season. We want to peak at the right time. Training staff here is really smart, really experienced. They've had different guys come in through the organization where they've had to be aware of their previous injury history, and we just take it easy, but also the onus is being prepared for every single game. So I appreciate that accountability and them giving me my space to just grow and figure out myself as I get older and enjoy this prime of mine. It's I have a different body now coming into my 30s. I have to take care of it differently than I did in my 20s. I can't just get up and roll out of bed and just not stretch or do anything to activate my body or warm up. So it's been an adjustment, but I'm having fun, and to be able to do it with this veteran group, veteran coaching staff as well, it helps out a lot.
Something that Nico and Jason both said after the season was that they feel very strongly that you and Luka do work well together and will in the future, and really the onus was on the organization to build around you guys. What do you think of the moves that were made, early impressions, and maybe specifically how you guys might be better than you were at the tail end of last year?
I'm happy about the moves. No hard criticism from me. They asked me what I thought throughout the summertime. Even in our closing meetings, they just asked me questions, trying to gauge who I wanted to play with and who I saw in the market, and who in this next free agency class and next couple free agency classes will be available. It's pretty interesting. So I was looking towards the future while also being aware that it takes time to build a great team. It takes time to build chemistry. And with me and Luka, we're so skilled. He makes the game so easy for everyone around him. I think we got a lot of open shots last year because of how much attention he garnered. And for me, I was just coming in and trying to alleviate some of that pressure. A few times, I think we were being too passive with one another. We're both killers on the court. Everybody knows it. We want to win. So we just have to continue to have that consistent mentality together and lead the team as best we can alongside other guys that have experience in this league or young guys that we have to coach even more so. So it's all been a learning experience. It was so quick last year, and there was so much pressure on us to win now, win big, and it's Luka and Kyrie. Why can't you guys win games? So we were answering a lot of questions that, honestly, I don't think we were ready for. And health is everything in this league. So us not being 100% and going through last season and trying to do the best we could mentally and emotionally and physically, I got to give ourselves some grace and some credit. We made it through. We've had almost 6 months off, at least some of us. You know, Luka's been playing in the World Cup, Josh playing in the World Cup, Dwight. So guys have been playing, but I think more or less I'm looking forward to starting from day one like we're doing now. And we have the pieces out there. We have some young guys that are incredibly active. We drafted well. And just to be included in that process felt good. You know, just being asked questions on what I thought and how our pieces would fit around, but also I'm not the centralized focused. So
Was Grant Williams one of the guys that you mentioned or that was talked about with you?
Grant was one of those guys that I mentioned. You know, he was a big piece in those Boston series when we were playing in Brooklyn. He really made it difficult on us. He wasn't the only one, obviously, but he was doing the intangibles out there, and I think he was looking for a bigger role somewhere else, and I can't knock a guy for wanting to try more and be more in this league. So coming here and getting the deal that he did, I was proud of him, but also I knew that the work was still ahead of us.
Kyrie, you grew up in New Jersey. When you was 9 years old, Jason Kidd got traded to the New Jersey Nets, and you became one of his favorite players. I mean, he became one of your favorite players. Yeah. Could 9-year-old Kyrie envision this day that one day you'd be playing for Jason Kidd?
Oh man, no, I don't think I could have ever imagined it this way. And this is beautiful, honestly, because I could reflect on this journey and say I was that 9-year-old kid looking up to J. Kidd, leading the New Jersey Nets to those finals. We have the same birthday. You know, we share the same birthday. We have had similar relationships that have connected us for life. I was at his Hall of Fame induction. I happened to be sitting next to Dirk as well, so I don't believe in coincidences. And when I was there, I felt that I didn't know what the future held at that point, but I knew I had mentors that I could always lean in on, and that was J. Kidd. He was one of them. He always said I could call him, always pick his brain, and even when we had a vacancy in Brooklyn, I wanted to see if he could come and coach us, be another Brooklyn head coach. But I think I'm more or less excited about the off-the-court aspect and him teaching me how to be a better man and be underneath that type of coaching tutelage. It goes a long way for young guys like me. Life after basketball is important, but we want to enjoy what we're doing here every single day, and he just brings a natural ease. His energy is easygoing, and he's going to hold you accountable, and he's brutally honest, which I appreciate. And he's got to be your guy to have that loyalty. So being in here in this locker room and going through training camp for the first few days from day one, it felt like I was just telling one of our guys in there, I wish I would have got drafted by Dallas initially. Obviously they weren't in position in 2011, but just feeling how this organization wraps their arms around the guys. And I had some of that feeling and sentiment in other places, but you can just feel there was a difference here when I started from day one, and these guys really wanted me to be here. So,
when you were watching Kidd as a kid, did you steal some of his moves that you're using now today?
Yeah, absolutely. He didn't really have as much wiggle as I do, or shiftiness, or he'll tell you himself, or even the mid-range pull-up. I feel like I'm a healthy mix of some of my mentors, and they'll tell you themselves. I've studied his game front to back, all his years of being a young guy in the league, and then also being J. Kidd in New York City, where he became just a knockdown three-point shooter and a great leader on the bench. But I just appreciate all parts of his journey, and just want to be as successful as him.
Kyrie, how are you physically to start this season? And along those same lines, how are you approaching this unique training camp with this international travel and a lot of trips over the next 12 days? It's great that you have this time for a full camp, but it's a different kind of one, I'm sure. What's the importance of a good start here with all that being said?
Physically, I'm great. I'm taking my time into this training camp. It's my 13th season, so I've been through a few training camps, and my focus this year, or my approach, is just to focus on being prepared and healthy and peaking at the right time. You know, coming into every season, you want to start right away, hot, you know, just do everything the right way. But it's impossible to be perfect in the beginning of the season. We have a new group. We have some things to still figure out, so we got to give each other grace for that. But outside of that, it's been fun to think about going to Abu Dhabi, going to Madrid, have an opportunity to play in front of an international community that support the game of basketball, and just grow over there as a team, build camaraderie. And this is what I was talking about last year when, you know, we got to get out and get to know one another on different planes, different environments. I feel like we get a chance to do that overseas. It is a quick training camp, but we can't make an excuse for that. We just got to put in our two-a-days and continue to get in better shape. And that's what this preseason is about. Short amount of days, a lot of work in those short days. But we'll get some rest on the back end when we come back home. But these next 2 weeks will have its ups and downs. But I just want to go into these games with a clear mentality that we just want to win, and we just want to continue to get better and dive deeper into the relationships that are going to matter for us later down in the season.
Kyrie, you played with Seth for a year. How do you feel about what he's going to bring to this team and his obvious assets and how they'll fit in?
I'm excited. He's an incredible shooter. He's an incredible leader to have in the locker room as well. He has experience, and he brings some diversity to that point guard role that we have on this team. And it's going to be interesting to see him out there with Luka and myself and Luka at times, but also running that second unit and coming in and filling in for our shooters. He really sets the tone. He has a great work ethic, and just looking forward to continuing to work with him.
Kyrie, you streamed early on when Luka was playing friendlies, like watching his film. What did you see while he was playing with Slovenia? Like, he was utilizing some different ways, like off the ball and some actions out of the corner, like zoom actions, double wide pin downs. What did you see from that you could be like looking forward to with, you know, coming back to the Mavericks, playing with him as you build on your continuity with each other?
Yeah, well, Luka already makes the game look easier here in the States, but when he plays for Slovenia, it's like he goes Super Saiyan mode. He goes ballistic, and you can see how close his teammates are, or how close they are as a team, and they've built some equity with each other, just going through that process of trying to make the Olympics, playing in the World Cup, and Luka's a big part of that country's success. So you have to give him credit just to be that young and to garner that much attention already, offensively and defensively. It's impressive to see him go through. I just wanted him to stay healthy. I was texting him every once in a while, just reminding him that me and Dirk have gotten World Cup MVPs. We're just waiting for him to get his. You know, eventually he will get it. But just, you know, trying to give him some motivation while he's over there. It's a grind. It's a sacrifice to be away from your family. And you could see in some of their interviews, I was watching some of their interviews off stream of the Slovenian players, and tears rolling down their eyes. You can see how passionate they are. So, again, the closeness of that group, you can see Luka's being himself. And, you know, while he's here, we just want to create that same environment. And I know Dallas has done that. And that's what I'm focused on, is just keeping him happy and working on, you know, the little things that we could get better at as a duo and leaders of this team. And just down the stretch, how we trust each other a little bit more. You know, he's incredibly talented. I'm incredibly talented. We put a lot of work into this game of ours that we love. So I want to see him be successful, and if he's successful, then our team is successful. So we just continue to play that position here as a veteran and continue to be mature about the role that I'm here to fulfill, and just be real with him. You know, that's been the fun part. Just you have somebody that skilled, that young. It reminds me of some other guys that I've been around throughout the league. You could see that his trajectory is there. He has the potential, and now we just want to put it together with a full team successful season.
Hey, Kyrie. Hey, Kyrie. First of all, welcome back. You talked about free agency with organizations and coming back to Dallas. You were also a free agent with Shoe Deal. Just talk about the process of joining Anta, not only as a player, but also as an executive and creative.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it felt a little surreal this summer, being able to negotiate a shoe deal of the magnitude that I have, and alongside my all-leaving management team. They really emphasized me having creative control and being broadcasted to more of an international community, and having direction in that, and being able to come to the table and discuss that with the executives over there. There definitely is a language barrier. There are definitely things to be aware of politically, but also I think the importance for me was being able to put clothes on my family's back, putting clothes on my community's back, putting shoes on their feet, and being able to make a bigger impact with my platform after basketball. I have less years playing than I do more years playing. I'm aware of that. But I think the fun part is being able to jump into that entrepreneurial lane and prepare myself for life after basketball my way. So this is just a step in that direction, that process, and it's been amazing to see the attention that it's getting. But my focus right now is just building the best team at Anta, making sure our designs and our technology match what we're saying, and making sure the production and distribution also matches what we're saying. So it's a new business here in America. I'm building something new here, and I'm competing with some of the biggest brands in the world. We all know who they are. We all know who they have, some of the best players and best athletes and best artists. But that's where I feel like my CCO role at Anta is key, because I can sign other artists, I can sign other athletes, I could basically sign my peers, and also negotiate favorable terms that I know the industry is not offering anybody else. So, and the big smile on my face is because of that. Reading contracts, understanding contracts, bringing in the attorneys, bringing in the lawyers, it's all new process for me. So I had an amazing time learning throughout that, and where I made mistakes when I was 18, 19, signing contracts that I didn't read thoroughly. And, this is just a big stepping stone for me to teach at the same time, while I'm going through the process, because I don't want any of these young kids to feel like they have to sign with these other brands because they offer apparel or they offer shoes. Outside of that, if you want to talk about generational wealth, you got to go deep into the details. And that's what I did this summer, signing with Anta. So it was just bigger than just a shoe deal. That's why I had the hashtag. So literally just focused on establishing myself as a businessman and knowing I have an entrepreneurial lane outside of this game.
Hey, Kai. Outside of basketball, over here, sorry. Outside of basketball, what was Kyrie's summer like? Kind of some leisure activities that just got you up in the morning?
I have 3 kids, so that was enough for me to be in the house every day in the summer, and them jumping on me and trying to get me up. I have 2 under 2 still. My son Elohim turns 1 in Dubai, or in Abu Dhabi, on the 4th coming up. So what an exciting time for them. He's waking up at 6 a.m. He's jumping on me. He still sleeps in our bed. And then Kai, he's 2. He just completely runs my household. And then my daughter, Azori, she is independent 100%, but also loves one-on-one time with daddy. So I make it an emphasis in the summer, especially this long summer that we had, to establish better relationship time with them and create a resourceful lifestyle where they can be a part of my life in the season too, where it didn't feel like such a drag or feel like so much pressure on me. I'm human, I miss my kids. So that's what the summer was really looking like, was just being a dad and giving myself grace to heal. And I felt like I was playing injured throughout the last few games in the season, doing my best to hide it, just like we all hide injuries. But outside of that, those 2 things of being daddy or being a hooper, was just being a businessman and learning